The first thing James remembered was the screaming. Not his own, though his throat was raw from it, but dozens of voices, rising in terror as the plane came apart in the sky. And then, the plunge, a deafening roar, metal twisting, and suddenly, silence. Only the crash of the ocean swallowing everything whole. When James broke the surface, fire lit the night. Flames spread across the water, hissing where the waves smothered them. Debris floated everywhere. Suitcases, seats, shattered metal. He coughed, gasped for air, and called out, "Hello, anybody?" A voice answered, "Here, over here." It was Anna. She clung to a seat cushion, her eyes wide with shock. James swam to her, dragging her toward a faint orange glow, a half-inflated life raft. They scrambled inside, shivering, soaked, staring at the burning wreck as it slowly sank into black water. For a long time, neither spoke. The stars glittered above them, cold and uncaring. Finally, Anna whispered, "Do you think anyone else made it?" James wanted to lie, to give her hope. But he couldn't. He just shook his head. The sun rose, hot and merciless. By daylight, the sea stretched endlessly, horizon to horizon. James found a survival kit, 3 water packets, a few rations, a flare gun. Enough for a few days, maybe. They drifted, talking sometimes, silent at others. Anna told him about the mountains she loved hiking in. James admitted he'd never been this far from home before. Sometimes they laughed, sometimes they didn't. But the ocean kept them, drifting, waiting. On the 3rd night, the storm came. Clouds swallowed the stars. Waves towered above them. Rain lashed their faces as the raft tossed like a toy. They clung to each other, shouting over the thunder. Every crash of water threatened to tear them away. For hours, the storm raged. And then, quiet. At dawn, the sea was calm again. The raft was battered, one side deflated. But they were alive. The relief didn't last. Half the rations had been swept away during the storm, the small packets of food and water swallowed by the sea. James stared at the empty survival bag, a knot tightening in his stomach. They couldn't last much longer like this. Exhausted, trembling, they lay in silence. The sea around them stretched endless and gray, rolling gently as if nothing had happened. James closed his eyes, half wishing the ocean would simply take them and be done with it. And then Anna stirred. She sat up slowly, squinting at the horizon. Anna was the first to see it. A dark smudge on the horizon. She blinked, rubbed her eyes. It was real. "Land!" she gasped. They paddled with numb hands. Closer, closer. The outline sharpened. The raft scraped against the shallow sand. James climbed out, every step unsteady, muscles screaming as he hauled the raft toward the shore. The wet sand gave way beneath him, and he stumbled, falling to his knees as the water lapped over him. Anna collapsed beside him, laughing through tears. As they laid there, James noticed, the island was silent. No birdsong, no movement, only the endless hiss of the tide. The sand was littered with bones, old campfires, half buried, a rusted raft torn to shreds. James felt the hairs on his neck rise, though he couldn't say why. Anna's laughter died in her throat. She whispered, "We're not the first." The tide dragged pieces of wreckage onto the shore. Seat cushions, torn clothing, fragments of twisted metal, all washing up like offerings from the deep. The waves pulled and pushed, carrying the dead remains of the plane as if eager to remind them what they had escaped, and what still waited beneath. Each crash of water against the sand sounded less like surf, and more like a warning. They both turned to face the island, muscles aching, eyes heavy. James asked himself quietly if surviving had been a blessing, or a fate crueler than drowning. The island loomed, empty, silent, like a graveyard. It was waiting for them.